Okay, this screen share. Okay. Oh, and now this thing's in the way. Okay. All right. Okay, good evening. My name is Ashley Frame, and I have always been really bad at icebreakers. I'm not sure if it's because I don't know what flavor ice cream I am, what color rock I wish I were, or if I'm just not comfortable talking in front of groups of people. But regardless, every time the questions come up in these new settings, my mind goes blank. I have no idea how to explain to people who I am. So here I am in a public speaking class, once again, figuring out how to introduce myself. I went through the list of questions that we could answer in our speech, and like always, my mind went blank. Suddenly, I couldn't think of a single object that exists in the world, let alone one that I feel describes me. So I moved on to the next questions, and I thought about heroes. I thought about, I thought about real life heroes, Layla, Maya Angelou, and some fictional ones as well. While these are all great people that have wonderful traits about them, none of them really resonated with me. I could easily write a piece about how they inspire me and try to make comparisons to my pretty average life, but I feel that it would be the easy way out. So I hit a wall, and I tried to process this by thinking about personality traits. I asked myself, what are the traits that I would want to be said about me? I would want to be known as patient, a good listener who is always there for people. I would want to be known as smart, always willing to share the information I know, not in a boastful way, but in a way that continues to grow the world around me. I would want to be known as brave, willing to stand up for myself and others around me, to never let fear prevent me from doing what I know is right. So I thought to myself, who displays these traits and who taught me to want them? I began to realize that who I really am is a collection of traits that I have adopted throughout my life from a community of different people. I can't single out one person that I would want to model myself on, so I won't. Instead, I'll introduce you to a few people who I view as heroes. The first being my grandmother. When I think of someone who is patient, I think of her. I think of the late nights of babysitting, just sitting there being subjected to the many plays that I acted out in front of her. I think of her braiding my hair into an intricate bun with her shaky hands. I think of her sitting in the living room, listening to all of my stories about my high school woes. When I think of these moments, I feel the love that she has always provided. When I think of who I want to be in my life, I know that I want others to feel the same way I do when she is around, safe and supported. So then I thought about intelligence, and I tried to think of someone who I look up to that has always struck me as smart. My grandfather. Throughout my life, he has guided me in my journey through the education system. He has celebrated with me in my successes and has helped me through the losses. Whenever I spend time with Rod, he teaches me everything he knows, which is a lot. He was a pilot for the United States Navy, and after his career in the military, he became a pilot for United Airlines. When I visited him in Washington State as a child, he taught me how to build a plane. He showed me how to iron fabric over a wooden frame, and I don't know, somehow that keeps up in the sky. When I got older, he took me to college fairs, walked me around the air shows, telling me all about the different planes. And whenever we talk about current or past events, he always has a story to teach me. Rod has always been a solid example throughout my life of the importance of knowledge. He always has told me, what you know determines where you will go. He has inspired me to continue on in my education, to better myself, and in turn, better my life. So finally, we reach bravery. In this category, I can think of many examples, but to do so, I need to explain a little bit more about myself. In 2016, I was thrusted into the world of politics. It was the first time I was able to vote. And because of this, I took the time to look into different political groups. I went with friends to city council meetings here in Sacramento, and we advocated for the homeless community that is currently suffering in our city. While I was there, I was introduced to many people that I would consider to be brave. I listened to the community organizer who translated for undocumented families living in unsafe living conditions. I heard the voices of homeless people who had their blankets and tents confiscated during the winter months. And I heard the pleas of advocates who face fines for simply feeding and clothing those on the streets. These stories affected me, but admittedly, I sat in the far back of the council chambers for most weeks. And when I finally did get the courage to go up to the podium and speak, I was so nervous that most of what I said got overshadowed by just how fast I said it. So now, 4 years later, I reflect on just how hard it was for these people to speak so vulnerably in front of a large group of people, especially when, historically speaking, the audience hasn't been very receptive to their message. To me, these people will always be in my mind, reminding me that it takes courage and bravery to use your voice. I may not be able to tell you what kind of car I am or be able to pick the one person who inspires me the most, but I hope that this gives a window into who I am, what I believe in, and what I plan to do with the skills that I learned in this class. Thank you.